from the region. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has arrived in Israel with the goal of overseeing the implementation of US President Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan, according to the US State Department. Rubio's visit follows the departure of Vice President J.D. Vance and comes at a pivotal time for US and Israeli relations as the region faces ongoing tensions. The visit has just come after Israeli lawmakers granted preliminary approval to a controversial bill, which many view as a move forward to the annexation of a territory which Palestinians hope to include in a future independent state. Rubio has expressed concerns that this could jeopardize Trump's peace initiative, which aims to stabilize the Gaza conflict and maintain a fragile ceasefire between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Rubio, who is set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during his three-day visit, has reiterated his confidence in the prospects of the Gaza peace plan, calling it a positive step towards long-term stability in the region. Let's take a listen in to Rubio's statements.
Thank you for having us. And again, we're back here with just a little bit over a week after a very historic day where President Trump's work with our partners led to this extraordinary breakthrough. And now we have more work ahead of us, but we feel very positive about it. We're making good progress. It's amazing that in just 7 or 8 days, the kinds of things and systems that have been set up. No one's under any illusions. We've already done the impossible once, and we intend to keep doing that. If we can, we have good partners that we're working on. But we feel confident and positive about the progress that's being made. We're clear-eyed about the challenges, too. But the President has made this a top priority, I think, as evidenced by the fact that both Steve Woodcock and Jared Kushner were here for much of the week. I know you spent time with them, and the Vice President just left. We crossed on the way. And then I'm here now today because this is a priority. It's a very important achievement, but there's more work to be done and bigger achievements that lie ahead. And so we're here to work on that, and we feel very positive and confident that we're going to get there despite substantial obstacles.
On the sidelines, US Vice President J.D. Vance has expressed frustration yesterday and also disappointment following Israel's vote in favor of a bill applying Israeli law to the West Bank, a move widely seen as an attempt to annex the territory. Speaking in Tel Aviv as he prepared to depart Israel, Vance described the vote as an insult, stressing that such actions could undermine the fragile peace efforts currently underway. While expressing his strong disapproval of the move, Vance has remained hopeful that annexation would not actually take place. The bill, which gained preliminary approval from Israeli lawmakers, has raised tensions between Israel and the US administration, particularly regarding the future of Palestinian territories. He also addressed progress on the Gaza peace plan, which includes the proposed deployment of a temporary international stabilization force in the Gaza Strip. He also expressed optimism about recent developments, noting that significant progress had been made in understanding the composition of the ISF. Let's take a listen in to his statements.
But I do think that we've made a lot of progress in understanding what the composition of the ISF would look like and understanding what would be necessary for it.
Okay, we are now joined once again by Professor Imbar. Professor, of course, this is an extremely complicated time. We have had this grand announcement by Donald Trump, this sort of Orwellian announcement that there is this huge peace organization that is going to be made, the Department of Peace, the Governance of Peace, headed by him, President Donald Trump. However, it's not quite over yet, is it? 96 people have died since in Gaza since 10 days of this ceasefire. Aid is trickling in at a very, very much limited rate still. You've seen this vote yesterday, and you have an election coming up in Israel next year. Of course, and also a declining popularity in the United States for the Israeli state. Your thoughts in the future of Israel and the United States, and the fragility of the situation that lays in front of us?
Well, the main problem, of course, is moving to the second stage of the Trump peace plan, which is the disarmament of Hamas and its removal from the Gaza Strip. This is a very tricky problem because I don't see the Hamas giving up easily their arms, similar to what is happening in Lebanon, when Hezbollah is also asked to disarm and they refuse. Those type of radical Islamist organizations are not eager to disarm. So this is the main test of the United States and its partners, Israel included, in moving forward. Without the disarmament of Hamas and its removal from Gaza, we cannot move forward. And hopefully the Americans will have enough clout to make this happen.
Professor Ephraim Imbar, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the programme. We now move on over to the United States, where the US ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, denounces the International Court of Justice's advisory opinion on Israel as nakedly political after the UN's top court said that Israel must ease the passage of aid into Gaza and ensure Palestine have access to the basic needs. Mike Waltz has said that the ICJ just issued a nakedly political but fortunately non-binding advisory opinion, unfairly bashing Israel and giving UNRWA a free pass for its deep entanglement with Hamas's terrorism. Let's take a listen in to what the leaders had to say.
This is further evidence that Hamas is unfit to rule the Gaza Strip, cannot be trusted with the safety of the people in Gaza for a moment longer. And likewise, frankly, many nations have condemned Israel, and those nations should be embarrassed for their silence and for their hypocrisy as Hamas slays its own people.
As was stated by the United States, it is for Palestinians to govern themselves. There is no substitute to Palestinian self-determination. There is a critical role for regional and international actors and mechanisms in support of Palestinian governance and independent statehood, and not as a substitute to them.
Israël doit permettre l'entrée massive de l'aide humanitaire par le biais des Nations Unies et des ONG internationales. La France appelle Israël à se conformer à ses obligations, telles que rappelées par la Cour internationale de justice dans son avis consultatif du 22 octobre.
Okay, we move on to further news updates. Released Israeli hostage Matan Angrest has returned home to a large cheering crowd. Angrest was released from Gaza and returned to Israel under the US brokered ceasefire deal, in which Hamas was supposed to release all 20 hostages still alive and 28 deceased captives to Israel. The Angrest was a serving sergeant in the Israeli army when he was abducted by Hamas on October the 7th of 2023. Meanwhile, the body of a Thai farm labourer killed during the October the 7th attack has been repatriated to Thailand. The remains of Sonthaya Okasari have arrived at Bangkok's Santharabhumi airport from Tel Aviv as part of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Now we move on over, and at least 4 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes across